Greg. We're stuck with Greg for 2026 no matter what happens. I disagree. I think he's going to be out this era. This guy cannot be. If he loses the locker room, there's no way they can retain him. But if he has not lost the locker room and I am misreading the situation, then you got to retain him. But I don't think I am. I mean, we're hearing we're seeing way too much smoke. And when there's way too much smoke, there is an unadulterated inferno underneath the surface, just raging.
Yo.
DPG!
Oh, who are we talking about today?
DPG.
Who are we talking about?
We were talking about U.S. men's national team. A little bit about Berhalter and how I think he's lost the plot. It's over for him.
I look. I'm not sold on this team.
Yeah, right?
I'm not sold on this team.
Well, are you sold on the team itself because of the players or the roster, or is it the coach and the tactics?
I think it's a combination of everything. And this is the reason why. All right. You know, one thing is when you're playing against Costa Rica, Honduras, Mexico, Guatemala, whoever, right? Another thing is when you're actually playing real teams. When I mean by real teams, I mean competitive teams. When you're playing against your Japans, when you're playing against European teams. The one thing I notice about this men's national team is that they tend to struggle when they play against European teams. Right? The players themselves, the fact that everybody was high on Pepe and Ferreira and those guys, it's like, come on, those guys are kids. They they might have scored in the qualifiers, but they haven't done much after that.
No, they got so quiet that they don't really. I don't know why if they should have a place.
And if people are all trying to hype up, we got Jordan Morris. I'm like, come on, the Mr. Square? No, Jordan Morris to me, I don't even think he should even make the cut.
If he is on the final cut, I mean that tells you everything you need to know about U.S. men's national team. It's just they're not built to win. They're not built to win now. They were never built to win. They're built on shambles of a ghost. And I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say, and the thing is that this team is more of a patchwork than it is an actual team.
Yes.
And what I mean by that is that the team across the board is not consistent on their playing time. When you have a guy playing all the time like Yunus Musa, and he's on the same lineup as a guy like Christian Pulisic, who sits on the bench at Chelsea. And we got what's his face? The kid from Barcelona, or was from Barcelona. Well, I forgot his name for a moment.
The back.
Yeah, he's a defender. I forgot his name.
Leandro Dest. Serginho.
Dest. Serginho, there you go. He had a good start to his career, but he's been kind of quiet. And he's been sitting on the bench in Barcelona too. But somehow he has become a starter for this U.S. men's national team.
He's promised. It was promised.
It's like, are we building this team to win, or are we building this team based on who plays where?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sold on this team. I don't, and I'm gonna say this: I'm not even sold on the coaching staff. I think the coaching staff is just putting this, flying off the edge of their seat. They're just, throwing stuff on the field. I don't think Berhalter should have been the guy to get this job. There was actually better candidates than he.
There was way better candidates, and to be honest, he has not shown any reason to retain him. He didn't show any reason to stick with him past the 22nd game as coach. I mean, like this guy is. We saw what Greg Berhalter was on game 3.
Yeah. And the thing about it is that you're going to have all these U.S. men's national team fans that are going to be bragging. They're going to be hyping themselves up. they're gonna be frothing off the mouth, saying, "Oh my God, this guy is gonna play. He's showing signs. He's gonna score goals. He's gonna blow away the World Cup." Come on, let's be realistic. If you're a soccer fan, if you could see the writing on the wall versus whatever hype train you're getting on.
So a hype train. I got to get Tokyo. Tokyo, you got to get in here if you got some positivity for this team, because if I'm being a realist, we got a 1% chance. England has a 15% chance. They have a much larger percent chance to win the World Cup than the US does, and that's not because of their coach. It has all to do with their starting 11. Their match day 18 of England to a man is better than the match day 18 on the US. There's not a single player on the US men's national team that would make the English national team. If they took their names and faces off, there's not a single player that would make it. Maybe Yunus Musa, maybe Pulisic could get lucky. But short of those two, there's no Sergio Dest isn't making the English national team. Even though he's good, he's a solid talent. But
unfortunately, he sits on the bench at Barcelona, and Barcelona has trying to get rid of him.
Why are they trying to get rid of him? Because he's not good enough for Barcelona, and they thought he was, but he wasn't. And you know who they thought was good enough for Real Madrid? Madron, and he came to the Fire, and we saw how good that was.
Yep.
I mean, just because these guys play for a great club doesn't mean they're fantastic. Doesn't mean they're incredible. It does mean that they trained with the best. They have great training. They probably have a good soccer acumen, and there's something there. But how do you get that something out of them?
Yeah, exactly. When you throw them against the best of the best, that's where all starts showing up.
Right. And that's what I'm talking about. When we're throwing the U.S. men's national team, the best of the U.S. men's national team against the best of the world, yeah, they have a 1% chance in kind of variable 1% chance. You know what I mean? But like their chances are slim to nil when compared to a team that is heads and shoulders talented above them, like in England, like a Spain, like a France. Most South American teams. Would you call the Mexican national team on par with the U.S. men's soccer team with talent? Above?
Right now, to me, the Mexican national team is kind of going through it's right now they're still trying to figure themselves out.
Well, who on the Mexican national team would make the U.S. national team besides Raul Jimenez?
That's the only guy I could think of.
Who? Chicharito could actually.
Nah, well, I mean, if you want to, I guess you could consider him the Donovan of the U.S. national team.
Right.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. But
I mean, would you take Josh Sargent or Chicharito into the World Cup if you had that option?
Well, I will say this: Josh Sargent has been kind of scoring goals lately. If the World Cup was tomorrow, I'll take Josh Sargent.
Chicharito's been having a great season.
Yeah, but he's in his mid-30s?
Yep, he's up there, and he's not getting called in by Mexico because they seem to have some sort of war.
Yeah. So, and then going back to the U.S. men's national team, on paper it doesn't look bad, but the problem is when you start looking deeper in, like for example, you have Gio Reyna. Gio Reyna is a good player. It's a great player. I'd probably say he might be even better than Pulisic. But the problem is that Gio Reyna is injury prone. I mean, I hope he doesn't become one of those players that
he's 19. You can't. I mean, he's 19 years old. Can't say he's injury prone. 19 years old, dude. He's just getting out of high school. He's missed a couple of games. I could forgive him. I know. Once he gets to 23 and he's missing games like Pulisic is, not to injury, but to sitting on the bench because he picked the wrong team, that's a problem.
Well, the reason I say this is because, I think he's already been out. He's had has he had knee surgery already?
Oh man, let's take a look.
I know he's been out in long spells because of injury. I don't know if he's had surgery or because that's normally a bad sign if you're that young and you're already having knee surgery.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, think about how long of a career you can really have if that tissue's already torn up.
Yeah, or ankle injuries. I think back to a guy like Ben Olsen. Ben Olsen had a very promising career. Unfortunately, he got injured, and that injury stuck with him for the rest of his career.
Holy shit!
He didn't play like he did in his Rookie of the Year season?
So it's, I mean, he's only been around 2 years, Gio Reyna. I mean, he's 19 years old. He's been playing with Borussia Dortmund since he was about 17, 16. He missed, the most games he missed was 16. It just says muscle injury, 84 days. No, 56 days. So that's kind of like a long extended injury coming back from this one. And then he's had 2 significant injuries. That's what I'm seeing here.
So you think about that, and
they took him out 100. They took those injuries took him out 100 days and 150 days respectively.
Okay, so I'm not sure if he went under the knife for any of those injuries, but the fact that he's missed that many games and he's only been playing for 2 or 3 years, I'm hoping it's just maybe him just getting used to the league, but that should kind of be a kind of warning sign of what might happen if he keeps getting hurt.
I mean, if you're a team, how are you going to go spend 40 million on this guy? How can you justify going to spend 40 million on this guy if he can only show up for 20% of the games, 50% of the games?
Exactly. And that's a tough call. I mean, he really has to have a really good season. One full season of with Dortmund to actually prove that he could really be a game changer. And he is. I honestly like Gio Reyna. I just have a bad feeling that he might be one of those injury-prone players, just because he's missed quite a few games.
We're back live, by the way. We're back live. Sorry about that, everybody. Computer crash. DPG and FC Neo Tokyo talking about Serginho Dest. How much is the talented there? He's talented enough to be playing at Barcelona, but not talented enough to be starting.
So if you want to see talent, young talent in Barcelona playing, you don't have to look far. You can look at his teammates. Because you can look at Pedri, you can look at Gavi. They're around his same age as he is.
What happened to Sergi Roberto? Former right back or left back for them.
You probably could add that in there too. But I mean,
Let's
you look at Dest can't even crack in the lineup, and Barcelona's been trying to get rid of him, trying to send him out on loan and stuff.
Oh, Sergi Roberto still plays there. I remember him getting his start and just being so young.
He was good when he first, people were really high on him that first season he was with Barcelona.
Right. Yeah.
And then
are we talking about Sergi or are we talking about Dest?
Dest.
Okay, we're talking about Dest now. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So Dest, I think that first season he was with Barcelona, he was doing, I guess he hit it off. And then little by little, he just kept getting relegated to the bench. And it got to a point where I think Barcelona was trying to loan him out, or they did loan him out. And nothing came of that. So they're trying to actually get rid of him.
Yeah, but they're having a lot of problems. The Barcelona, they're a totally confused club. They've made some mistakes. Dude, how are you not playing some of your best players because they're going to charge you 40 million?
I heard about that.
Yeah, I mean, Barcelona is in some major trouble.
So if that's the case, I don't know. I mean, if you're Dest, you got to get out of that situation then. And going on loan isn't really helping your cause, because now you're dependent on the other team to play you, or might not play you, versus a club that's going to pay money for you to play for them. So I mean, unless Dest has a good World Cup, I don't know. Like I said, this team is not ready yet to be competitive. No. Maybe in 2026.
No, this team, this 2022 World Cup is going to be practice for them. It's going to be practice for a lot of players. Pulisic is going to be getting his first World Cup minutes, guys. He didn't play the last World Cup. They weren't in it. So He was denied World Cup. He was denied World Cup experience, and having that is going to make him a better player. Angus saying that Barcelona is a huge financial mess right now, and we maybe can't really trust a lot of their decision making because of that.
Yeah. So, I mean, didn't Barcelona have Conrad de la Fuente too?
I don't know who that is.
That was some. It was one of the American players that they had mentioned a couple of times. He was. I guess he might have been in the Barcelona youth teams, or he might have actually made it to Barcelona, and then he got. I don't know what happened to him. Let's see. Who else? What do you guys think about what's this guy's name? Pfolk, whatever his name, or whatever he calls
Jordan
himself.
Jordan Pfolk?
Yeah.
Jordan
Yep.
Pfolk. I don't even know. So let's see. 26. Plays for Union Berlin.
He did. He was the leading goal scorer for the Swiss league last year.
22 goals in 32 games. That's pretty good. But why did Greg not call this guy in? Enough. I see 9 call-ups.
How many goals does he have for Union Berlin?
He has 3 goals in 6 games.
Okay, so that's actually a really good ratio.
That's a really good ratio. And
yeah.
his ratio with the young boys is stellar. He scores goals, dude. This Jordan Pfolk, why am I just kind of hearing about this guy? He's 26 years old. Why was he not in the system before 2020? Okay.
How many goals?
He didn't have success till 2 years ago.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. I was like, yeah, I think he scored